All right, it's Thursday at 4 o'clock. It's time for the Real Estate Happy Hour Show.
And we are back again. You guys knew we would be because we're internet sensation. So
Huge.
we're kind of a big deal.
Big deal.
Man, we got some good stuff coming on today. Baby Shark, they turned that into an animated show. That we're going to look back 10 years from now and be like, what are you talking
Baby
about?
Shark.
We got interest rates are down. 4 fibs you should not tell in your mortgage application.
Fibs, lies.
6 ways to stay on top of your local real estate market. Man, Block C, we've got some stock picks. Man, big stock picks I pulled out today. And some stats on Side Hustle.
Absolutely, and T.I. is leading us in, huh?
T.I. saying you can have whatever you like.
Whatever you like. Well, whatever you like is, hey, did you see, you know, one thing you know about David and I, we love to cruise. Did you see the MSC Opera over in Venice, Italy? Basically, the tow lines, they were basically being towed into port, and the tow line broke. And the ship, like in the movie Speed 2,
kept going, just barreled right into that concrete, what is it?
The dock.
Yeah, the concrete dock. I mean,
and the little riverboat. When I say riverboat, one of these like Viking-type ships, ships.
Tore it up.
I mean, hey, that horn is blowing. Going, hey,
crazy.
Can't stop. But anyway, go to YouTube, check it out if you haven't seen that. So that's a crazy thing. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, because, I know y'all like to eat out a little bit. And, a lot of us like to eat at the times everybody else does. 7 on Friday, good time to go. Anyway.
Tuesdays.
Clark Howard talked about this week that dynamic pricing is coming to a restaurant near you real quickly. They got the software to do it.
It makes sense. So, and what you mean by that is that on Tuesday night, that cheeseburger could be $4 and $8 on Friday night.
Absolutely. So it's supply and demand. Or even on Friday, it would be $4 at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. And they're just trying to control the flow and trying to even out the flow of things. I don't know. Look, it's already in your life, right? It's car rentals, airlines, cruises to some degree, but hotels, right? Supply and demand hits there. Gas stations to some degree as well. But the funny thing is everybody, I sent it out to some folks and their initial response to me was like, man, that's awful. That's the worst thing ever. I don't know, because I'm not so sure you're not going to get it below market value at certain times. And you're going to pay a premium in others, and you're going to have hopefully a better experience, because, one of the articles I read said that a lot of these restaurants aren't trying to make more money with it. They're trying to even out just from people having to sit for 2 hours, which creates less customers because it's not a smooth experience.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem you're going to have there is trying to overcharge, trying to go up on your normal prices. So if I'm normally used to spending X, let's say $12 for that salad, and now on a Friday night when it's busy, I'm actually spending $15. That may turn some people off, but who knows?
And they were talking about how would they know with a menu, like a fixed paper menu like you have here, is that you wouldn't have that anymore. It'd probably be an iPad at the table.
Yeah, you'd have to change that.
Kind of like they have at the Olive Garden. I know that's a little low class for you, but I love the Olive Garden.
Olive Garden, never-ending salad. I love their salads.
Hey, great. And the breadsticks? Yeah. Are you eating bread now that you're fit and all that?
Oh, of course.
But anyway, just like that.
Dynamic price. So moving on, real quick, I wanted to bring up, I saw this story when I was doing my homework for today. Beverly Hills, is now banning all tobacco products. The city of Beverly Hills. No cigarettes, no e-cigarettes, no tobacco.
What's their rationale for that?
Their rationale is that they will, long-term health will make them more money, be more valuable than the sales of the tobacco products.
I bet the other outer-lying cities are laughing.
Yeah, the outer-lying cities are going to be making a lot of money. Now, there are exemptions for cigar lounges and hotels.
But if it's so bad, you shouldn't have exemptions.
Yeah, well, so hotels can still sell tobacco products. I thought it was interesting that convenience stores rely on in-store tobacco sales are 1/3 of their gross sales.
I had no idea.
That's crazy, huh?
It is. Well, I guess who knew? I mean, what? But that all this banning, I mean, like the plastic stuff. We've talked about that before, plastic straws, all that. if we got a real problem with pollution and health. By the way, this just dawned on me. How many people do you know that have died from secondhand smoke? They've told me for years that secondhand smoke's terrible for you, but I think I've yet to find anybody that's really been injured.
I don't know. I think it was a big deal.
Well, it was, but I don't think anybody's died from it. I don't know. I digress, but it's all this banning that drives me nuts.
But I think if you look into it, I think the old secondhand smoke was
a real thing.
Yeah, that was a real deal.
Hey, I'm just skeptical of anybody.
That's why nobody smokes inside, and
Oh, I get that. I don't like the smoke. I'm just saying, everybody that whines about everything. I mean, if you're against plastic straws, hey, I'm not.
Yeah, cigarettes and plastic straws completely different,
Yeah.
right? But
I heard it. By the way, I heard a comedian one time talk about we treat smokers worse than we do deadbeat dads. I thought that was a great line, right? I mean, in the sense of, my God, you're a smoker.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, they got signs say don't smoke within 10 feet of the entrance of this building. You get over there.
But you don't pay your child support. You'll be all right. Yeah. All right, moving on.
I mean, that's what cities like Beverly Hills are going to create even more of.
These uppity folks.
Hate for smokers. Interest rates, real quick. They are falling. Listen, 30-year right now, 3.82 on average. I think that's about a half a point.
You guys are giving it away.
Yeah, 15-year, 3.28. So we're starting to see some of that roll in. And this week has been, significant on the move, some with the trade war talks and things like that.
Well, again, we talked about it before, that bad news in a lot of stuff equals good news in the mortgage markets.
Absolutely. And Ray says they're still got the smog in LA even without tobacco.
And they you know what, in 30 years they haven't done anything about traffic, but they're worried about all this other stuff.
Yeah, well, the smoking is a luxury. The traffic is necessary. We got to have people.
Yeah.
We got to have people on the grind. So interest rates 3.82, 3.28.
What about more people?
Huh?
One thing you and I've seen a little bit of is a number of people asking about those 15-year mortgages now. Huh?
Yeah, there will be some more interest in that. On average, I think 15-year typically only represents less than 15%, less than 10 to 15% of all mortgage origination. So not a huge demand for the 15-year, but certainly some people might be more interested in that.
They've had cash.
I think more in a refinance situation, but certainly. Moving on, 4 fibs you should never tell on your mortgage application.
So these are 4 lies.
Now we're saying you probably shouldn't lie in general. There's a form in there that says mortgage fraud is investigated.
It's kind of like the old VHS tapes when you'd put those in. It had that big FBI logo.
Yeah.
Y'all give those away.
It says mortgage fraud is investigated by the FBI. So that would tell me that we probably shouldn't lie. But
it happens.
There was an article came out, which I laughed at some of this stuff. So saying a down payment loan is a gift. Now,
but you do. I've heard you say before, is this really a gift?
Yes, it has to be a gift because, see, obviously a loan is going to represent the fact that you have to repay something, okay? And if you have any additional payments that we don't know about, that represents a threat to your paying back our mortgage. So, yeah, gifts from family members is definitely acceptable. But if they are expecting repayment, then
correct.
That's a loan.
That's a totally different thing. And the other thing, too, is you got to remember, if you're going to get a loan from a family member, and we're talking purely technically, you're going to have them charge interest if it's a loan.
Yeah.
And what the government has said is about 2% is a good interest rate inter-family.
Yeah. Which we can't use borrowed funds for the down payment.
So if you don't lie about it, but just ask them to give it to you.
Yeah, just ask them.
Works all the time.
Yeah, number 2, telling whoppers, which is great word there. Telling whoppers about your work history.
But Burger King likes that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In other words, inflating what you did and what you do. If you're not the vice president of,
we call this the George O'Leary rule.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, from his resume.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Telling whoppers about your work history. Yeah. I mean, you got to be upfront about your work history, start and end dates, income, positions, things like that. We do verify all of this stuff, guys. I mean, it's so funny that people try to get away with not telling part of the story, and we end up stumbling upon it anyway.
They do that.
Number 3 is forgetting about a few debts. Man, I had this happen. I think we talked about it last week.
Forgetting.
Look, we see when your credit was pulled. We get bank statements. Okay, so sometimes there might be a regular occurring thing you're paying through your bank statement. Now, underwriter might dig in and see a large payment going somewhere and ask questions about it. So, yeah, lying about your debts and what you're paying out every month is a big deal.
Big deal. I mean, just don't lie. This is all about lies, I guess. But, the next one's forgetting about a few debts, right?
Well, no, we covered that. Not being truthful about who's borrowing. This is a big one. This one is actually, they call it straw borrowers. It's a big form of mortgage fraud. So let's say that you can't qualify for the loan. So I'm going to get the loan and say it's my primary residence, but you're actually living in the house. So that means that, I'm financing under the wrong terms.
A lot of times we'll see that with dads or moms helping a kid out, and they'll go, I'll just go ahead and buy it for myself and then take the loan out, and then I'll let you live there. And then they'll be signing a document at closing that says, I promise that it's my first residence.
Yeah, so look, biggest thing is we now more than ever dig into everything. We find out everything. We're going to get, we're going to discover things. So don't lie. Let's, tell us the story and let us help you through the process.
Well, the other thing you and I've talked about before is not doctoring your tax returns. I know this sounds crazy, but at least once a year I hear a loan officer tell us, you won't believe what these people did. They went back into TurboTax, printed off what appears to be a better tax return, and they're shocked that David and these guys pull a transcript to match the numbers. They don't care about the return itself. They're making sure those columns match up, right? And that's technically fraud in a number of ways. You're defrauding the bank.
Yeah. I mean, you're lying about your income.
Yeah. Big no-no.
Producing false documents.
And are y'all seeing more fibs? Is there an age group that is more prevalent than another?
No, I don't really notice that. Typically, it's just typically people that have issues in their credit history or work history, personal history.
It doesn't matter the age. If they're a liar, they're a liar, right?
They get upset about you asking about it.
By the way, in case you want to read that article on MoneyWise about 4 fibs, that was Esther Trainer over at MoneyWise who had written that article. The next one comes from HomeLight.com's blog, and it was 6 ways you can stay on top of the local real estate market like glue. How do you become an expert in your local real estate market? What can you do if you're not in real estate, you're not in mortgage, but you want to know your area better than most people? Let's talk about number 1. Talk to a real estate agent who has already done the work for you. Why are they different? The MLS, they have access to the multiple listing service. You say, well, Zillow's got that. Well, Zillow, in many cases, including ours, does not have a sold feed going to them, right? Those are given to them. The other thing is, Zillow's not studying what we call hyper-local markets. David, you live over here in a big neighborhood behind us here, and those agents that work, there are some agents in your neighborhood that just work that area.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is when they focus on a certain search, like a price range in an area. Okay, so that's a very condensed amount of homes, and so they do the research on that specifically. Let's say 150 to 250,000 in Hoover.
Yeah.
Okay, so they know in general what's already on the market. They comb through those, and then they see the new ones that come on. That's what you're talking about there.
Yeah,
for somebody
absolutely.
That's got that hyper local.
Very hyper local. I think now. Do you need an agent necessarily that is very hyper local? Not necessarily, because I think they need to sell. However, if you're trying to get that information, call them out. You'll see the signs. I mean, you see in a lot of cases people that aren't generalists. They're more, like you say, very hyper local in what they market to. It might be a certain neighborhood or part of the city, certain price points, like you said.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the big difference. They've already spent time drilling down into there where you're going to have to start from the internet, whatever is listed on there. And you could probably find most of the houses listed But it's not as easy as searching MLS for an agent. I know
No,
that. Because
absolutely.
I've done it myself.
Absolutely. And stuff's not as accurate as MLS. Next one is look at the comps and make sure they're the right comps. Again, goes back to what he just said about the data, right?
Yes, and these comps is kind of a tricky thing. You know, they've got to be within a certain range of the house. They can't be, very old, right? You don't want to go back 12 months and be pulling comps versus today's market.
About 60 days on average. Don't go beyond that if you can help it.
Yeah, and it's got to be similar, right? You've got to have the house with an in-law suite and a pool.
The amenities, right?
How many other
that's
in-law
right.
suite and pools do we have to compare in that
Absolutely.
in that neighborhood?
I was looking at a house on the way over here. Well, not on the way over here. But right before I came. And, the person has it priced what appears to be right, except the comps that clearly the seller's basing it on all have finished basements, right? And so, sure, size is fine up top, and it does look like it's cheaper by $10,000, but I'm not so sure $10,000 makes up for the $50,000 renovation cost that you're going to have.
Yeah, and I do believe it's going to be a lot harder for the average person to find comps, find sold homes, because I don't think that information is readily available on the internet.
Not Zillow, for instance, the accuracy of especially that is not as accurate.
I think that's why sometimes we'll see issues with for sale by owner pricing of a house, because they don't know exactly everything that has sold.
They don't. What a lot of people do is they'll take the list price of a house and assume it's sold right there.
Yeah.
And the other thing we see is folks wanting to base the current, what they're going to list for based on these other actives, which just isn't accurate. So
Yeah. Moving
Next
on.
one.
Number 3 is keep your eyes peeled around the neighborhood.
easy. What he just said, right? You're riding around. No one knows your neighborhood better than yours. And in fact, if you ride through his neighborhood, you have directional signs getting you out of your own neighborhood.
Absolutely.
It's a great use of the money, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Next one, read local real estate media or media that has real estate content. One of the best ones in our market, and quite frankly, if you're around the country, in your local market, the local business journal publishes with every edition, I guess you'd say. Now I'm gotten so used to not seeing a newspaper, but in the back you'll look at, it's similar to the classified, the notices. They'll have every single real estate transaction in the back. That's another good one. You'll find out what's coming in foreclosure, those type things in articles like that are in these business journals.
Yeah, a lot of stuff online too that you can research.
Facebook
the,
Marketplace,
Yeah.
Next Door. Just get tuned into your local neighborhoods and the different stuff going on there.
Absolutely. Number 5, understand your market's timing.
Man, what are those trends, right? What are the trends every year? Where are we seeing the peak, right? We talked about it 2 weeks ago, that the best time to list your house, we're not even there yet, and we're June 6, 2019 right now. We're not even to the best day, which I think comes, what did it say, like in 2 more weeks?
Yeah.
So if you were paying attention to the market, you would know that we got 2 more weeks before you even have to be on the market. Because a lot of people are calling us going, I missed the boat. I'm done. Right? But you're not done. Know what the timing is. Who are the major employers in your market, right? Who, in our market, the UAB, which is our University of Alabama, Birmingham, the medical portion of it, major employer, right? They are very cyclical, have been traditionally with residents and those type things in March, April, May. But other areas, they've become year-round. The other one would be these industries in your market, find out what those are and find out where their folks are moving to in your market, and you should get a little bit better idea. The other thing would be demographics relative to those trends and timing. Because demographics, when I'm talking about that, is socioeconomic mainly, and find out when these particular demographics are moving. For instance, in our market, law students, med students, all these professional students typically will be moving from about, what would you say, June to August, trying to get in. So that's your time frame. But because if you were trying to target them and you were back in March, other than residents, if you were back in March, these guys haven't thought about it because they have exams and everything else coming up. They haven't even thought about it. And
Exactly.
so you haven't timed it right.
Exactly. Number 6, stay in touch with the agent who sold you the home.
They've been in your house. They know the quirks. They know the craziness of your house. They know what you paid for it. They know why you bought it, most importantly, right? Something attracted you to that house, I hope. And that really will help you get an idea, because they should, at least it should prompt them before they call you to go, let me look it up real quick and let's find the information about your house. But anyway, those are 6 good ways that you can stay on top of your real estate market.
Excellent. Now moving on to personal finance and stocks, man. We got a lot of stuff in here today. But real quick, you brought up Starbucks first.
Yeah, on fire. They're hot.
Starbucks is up 8% this week. So what's going on with that?
Starbucks, just same store sales. People are spending.
They're selling coffee.
The cold stuff too. I get confused because Amanda's like, oh, no, that's coffee too. I don't consider it coffee.
The
frappuccinos, the ice this and ice that. They're just selling a ton of it. People just must have, where they've infiltrated. They've infiltrated everywhere we are.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Anywhere you're going, train stations, airports, churches. Churches. They're in churches.
Yeah, Church of the Highlands has a big coffee thing in there all the time.
And
every week.
What's funny, and part of the problem is people have made it, and this is what worries me about the way we spend our relationship with money, is they don't mind dropping $5-6 a day.
Now
it's weird.
Yeah, when they first came out, it was, it was a strange idea to spend that much on coffee. But man, yeah, it's become more acceptable.
Yeah, well, no one looks at you like you're a nut.
Yeah. But anyway, I also noticed, looking up some stuff today, I noticed Beyond Meat.
I never even heard of Beyond Meat.
We have tried this, and it is pretty good. It's a plant-based burger. They have plant-based like chicken nuggets, plant-based beef crumbles for spaghetti.
Shrimp.
Man.
What have you.
Let me tell you, this stock opened, the IPO was priced at $25 a share. The day it opened at 46. Okay, this was about a month ago, a little over a month ago, early May.
Wow. Yep.
They reported earnings today. Revenue was at $40 million versus quarterly revenue versus the street expected 38. So they beat revenue estimates. Man, the stock today, look, I had to scratch through my numbers. The stock after hours was at 124. When it opened it, the first day, 46. And it's at 124 a little over a month later.
Wow,
That's a huge move.
And they're the first to market, not first to market, first to the mass market. That would be right.
Yeah, and I think one of the draws is them keeping up with the demand. because there's been a lot of restaurants that have introduced the Impossible Burger, which is another thing that.
Now, are we going to start? What have you found? Well, first of all, what do they taste like?
I think they're good. Yeah,
you cook them like a regular burger.
Yeah.
And what is it?
Now, I've had 3 or 4 different types, and some of them are not good. Okay, but this Beyond Meat has done a pretty good job. Well, and I think that's another, because you were thinking, what keeps somebody else from just coming in and entertain, doing the same thing, but
reverse engineer the product, and then you.
Yeah.
But they're first,
and it must be difficult to make a plant-based burger.
Yeah,
it sounds like it would be.
Yeah, you can't just go outside, pick a few leaves.
Yeah.
Crunch it together. But, now, because there is a war on red meat now, again. I started to notice that lately. Because I get nervous every time I'm about to bite into that steak.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else we got? Snapchat, right?
Yeah, Snapchat, $13.85.
Man, you've gotten rich on this one, folks. If you'd listened to us at $6 or $7.
Still moving up. Also found an article on side hustle. It looks like 1 in 3 Americans say they need the extra income. So everybody knows what a side hustle is. Lyft or Uber, things like that.
It's the new normal for a lot of people.
And it says that roughly about 34% of the people working a side hustle use it for disposable income. About 28% use the income for savings.
Do you think a lot of that is coming from the high use of credit cards that has been reported on?
Yes, and this article said that I think it's roughly about 43 to 45% of working Americans also have an additional job, which is about $1,200 a month. I think it's roughly 15 to 20 hours a week. $1,200 a month, or $13,000 a year. That 40-something percent of people have to do that.
And you know what? I'm all about side hustles and making money, becoming an entrepreneur. But I hate that so many are doing it because they have to be able to afford to pay the bills.
Yeah, they're saying they have to. I mean, on one side, we're saying, Starbucks stock is going through the roof.
But these are the same
on the
people.
other side, we got 45% of people having to work extra jobs.
Well, you're right. And the problem is they're the same people that have a 401k offered at work and aren't availing themselves of it. I mean, to me, there's a constant theme here.
Yeah.
Again, we sound like broken records, but it's the relationship with money that affects everything, even into what you and I do when we see them coming. I mean, how refreshing was it today? We had a buyer come in that is going to work with you. They said, 15-year mortgage, I don't care, we've got the money saved. I mean, it was almost like when you were talking on the phone, like you were like, this is like shocking.
Yeah, it's great. It's refreshing, You love to see people that are already in a good financial situation. And then, of course, you got plenty of people on the other side that are barely qualifying, but still excited about buying the house.
But they're the ones going to Starbucks for $8 coffees.
Exactly. So,
by the way, I love it when people give you the gift card. I do go there when there's gift cards.
Man, but I think it's interesting what we're looking at right now. The stock market is rebounding, going back and forth on these trade war talks. There are people saying that the economy could be turning into a recession. We've got 45% of people working extra jobs, but we got Starbucks stock going through the roof.
Now, but the other thing is, too, remember, even in a recession, there are stocks that win.
It shouldn't be Starbucks, though.
It shouldn't be Starbucks. It should be Budweiser. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll be back next week, but don't forget to check out the podcast edition. The podcast edition can be found anywhere you can find great
pod.
That's right, great pod, Alabama style. Anyway, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the great stuff. So
that's it. Till next Thursday, we'll be back.
Have a great week. So long.